Now, the Prime Minister has been accused of gaslighting Britain over the economy. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves made the claim to business leaders earlier on today, saying that the government is deluded over the success of its economic plans. Well, GB News' business and economics editor Liam Halligan put a question to Reeves at the keynote speech earlier on today.
Do you think that's a fair characterisation of the MPC, the former governor, saying that that lack of cognitive diversity had added to instability, led to higher inflation than would otherwise be the case? And also, do you think the OBR should be stronger or weaker than it currently is? Specifically, should elected politicians take more notice or less notice of OBR forecasts, which have often been rather to be fair, inaccurate?
Well, I think that we should respect independent economic institutions, and one of the reasons why we are in the mess that we are in today is because of the decisions of the Conservatives when Liz Truss was Prime Minister and Kwasi Kwarteng was Chancellor. It wasn't just the unfunded tax cuts that they promised, but it was also the undermining of the economic institutions that had previously made Britain a safe and secure place to invest. So sacking the respected Permanent Secretary of the Treasury, Tom Scholar, refusing to let the OBR do a forecast even though they said they were able to, or spending the leadership campaign undermining the Bank of England. All of those contributed to the financial and economic crisis that we faced just 18 months ago. And I think the lessons from that is that we should respect more and listen more to those independent economic institutions rather than seek to further undermine them. And that would certainly be my approach as Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Liam Halligan joins me now with On the Money. Liam, an excellent question, holding power to account, and expect no less from you, my old son. Can you tell me, though, for a simple fella like me, what does gaslighting mean?
Well, look, Labour had nothing really to say in terms of economic policy today. It was all politics. It was all about getting ahead of the Monetary Policy Committee's meeting at the Bank of England on Thursday, in which we're likely to hear lots of words about inflation coming down. We won't actually get a new inflation number, but I think the Bank of England will certainly be saying interest rates are coming and coming quite soon. And then the following day on Friday, there's going to be a GDP number, a national income number, a growth number that's almost certainly going to show that the UK economy isn't necessarily out of the woods, but has returned to growth after the recession, the shrinking of the economy at the back end of last year. So Rachel Reeves calls together, the country's economics editors, and a lot of the political editors showed up too, of course, and basically just played politics with all of us by using this term gaslighting. Now, my mum doesn't know what gaslighting means, Martin, and I suggest that, various relatives in your family may not know what gaslighting means either, particularly if they're over 50. It's the kind of thing that your teenage daughter screams at you, as in, don't gaslight me, Dad, just when you're saying something that's completely obvious, maybe making an argument that's a little bit inconvenient. It stems from a 1930s film in which a cad, a scoundrel, a bounder, as they had back in those days, probably with a chiselled jaw and a cravat, was treating a lady in a bad way, trying to kind of psychoanalyse her and trick her into thinking that black was white, if you like. And that Labour knows that everyone today is going to be saying, well, what is gaslighting? What is gaslighting? And it's a bit like having a row over the 385 million quid or whatever it was during the Brexit referendum, that old Dominic Cummings trick. Just get them talking about it, even if there's a bit of controversy. Aren't Labour silly to use a term like gaslighting? No one knows what it means. Oh, we're all talking about it, even though all Labour are basically saying is, and here's the punchline, wait for it, they're saying, even if growth is getting better, even if there is a feel-good factor in the economy coming down the track, or if the government says there is, they're lying. We're not going to do a victory lap just because inflation's returning to target, says Rachel Reeves. We're not going to celebrate the return to of 0% growth, says Rachel Reeves. So there's an awful lot of politics, and perhaps the most political thing about today's sort of press conference, not press conference, if you know what I mean, because there was no real news, is that it was introduced by a former Tory minister that you probably haven't heard of, called Nick Bowles, who, of course, left the Tories because he was extremely upset that they actually wanted to implement the Brexit referendum and leave the European Union. Nick Boles will contest that. He says he's just following his instincts. He hasn't joined the Labour Party formally, but I'm sure he'll be hoping to in the future. He'll certainly be wheeled out, as will other Conservative floor crossers, if you like, though I must say Nick Boles hasn't formally joined the Labour Party. But there will be more and more Tory faces or ex-Tory faces now being seen with Labour, in and around Labour, providing kind of ornamentation, if you like, as the election approaches. It's really quite interesting, Martin, what Rachel Reeves said in terms of Liz Truss too. She's repeating this mantra, which many economists are now contesting, albeit late in the day, that mini budget, the blow up or the increase in bond yields, borrowing costs back in the autumn of 2022 when Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss did their mini budget. It was partly about their unfunded spending pledges, and it was partly that they were heavy-handed, sacking the permanent Secretary of the Treasury and so on, and not heeding any forecasts from the OBR. But it's also that the Bank of England was selling lots of bonds in the days before. That's now come clear, which roiled financial markets and would have led to instability, potentially, whatever Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng did. So there's a lot of rewriting of history going on here. There's a lot of contested historical episodes that have been treated by as fact, asserted as fact for political convenience. But look, Rachel Reeves is probably going to be the first female Chancellor in the world. She is a competent person. I've known her for many years. I do not think that she is going to be, unleashing wildly left-wing policies that will instantly upset financial markets and cause instability. I don't think that at all. But what she's shown today is in that road to number 10, or most likely number 11 in her case, she and the Labour Party, they're really willing to play pretty hardball politics and also themselves try and gaslight the public by getting us to talk about things where there's nothing to talk about.
Well, mission accomplished on that sense, if nothing else. Liam Halligan, that's as clear as day. Thank you very much.